Welcome to our little podcast world where I am not your tour guide, but I am your host, Starla Skelton. Whether you're a solo globetrotter, an ultralight backpacker, or a weekend warrior, this podcast is a space where travelers become storytellers. On today's show, we have a returning guest and an old friend of mine, Henry McClain. He joined us on season 1, and he's back again to interrupt our daily lives and to plant that little seed of wanderlust. Henry is a sales manager for a roofing company, and he has fought hard for a good work-life travel balance. Since we've last spoke with him, he has explored 14 new countries, and he explores the world with an open mind in search of a good conversation. So enjoy our show today, where he talks about single-serving friendships, holding on to gratitude, emphasizing the importance of human connection, and the best places to get lost. Okay, here I am with Mr. Henry Alex McClain, and I looked it up, Alex, and the last time we did this was in February of 2023, and you were awesome and were one of the first people to talk to me. Actually, I think you were the very first person to talk to me on this show, and we ended up naming yours Baller on a Budget, just because you are very aware of how to travel and traverse the globe while not spending, thousands and thousands of dollars. So since we have seen you last, since I've seen your beautiful face last, what are you doing? Where have you been? I feel like you've got so many tattoos since I've seen you. Like, you look a little tanner. Like, what have you been doing?
Starla, it's so good to be back. Look at us after all these years.
Look at us.
I'm almost 40, just so you know. I don't know if you're aware of that, but I don't know how that makes you feel. I think that you're always going to think of me as some 23-year-old with an apron on walking around Midtown, but life takes hold, life changes. So here I am, almost 40. I've got gray in my beard. A lot of people accuse me of, saying that the gray in my beard makes me look old. I think it's more the mileage than the years. But I'm glad to be back. Yeah, I've been out and about a few times since we last talked.
Yeah.
And I'd love to sit here and chat and talk about our love of travel together.
Oh my God, that's like my favorite thing to do. And whenever I reached out to you the other day, and I was basically like, yo, where have you been lately? You sent me a whole list, a list. Like, mention some of those places that you've been since we've last talked.
Yeah, I think I added about 15 new in the past 2 years. So,
that's it.
I have this, let me see, 15 new, but I've had some returns. I have this little app called Flighty, and it just shows, and it's cool. I like it just because it has like all of my flight routes of like all the places I've been, and it just stays on the globe like that. But I've only had it since 2020, so it's not everything in its entirety. Let's see. I've been on 88 flights. I've been to 56 airports.
Ooh.
I have been on 23 different airlines. This is since 2020.
Yeah.
So the past 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. In distance, I've been around the world 6.1 times.
Okay.
So, and like the only domestic flights out of those were, I think, New York and Colorado. So I've been bouncing around a little bit.
My first off the wall question I wanted to ask you on that is there an airport that just like sticks out in your head as like an experience?
Let's see. Germany is probably my favorite airports. Probably like Frankfurt, Germany, and Schiphol in the Netherlands, just because they're just calm, collected, get it done, and it's like no drama. So
can I give you just a little tidbit? I don't know if you know this, but whenever Coral, who is my daughter, I know you know that, Henry, but some other people might not. But whenever I got pregnant with Coral, I was in Frankfurt, Germany when I found out, and I was flying into Frankfurt and I got so lightheaded. I passed out on the airplane. So whenever I woke up my first time in Frankfurt, the ambulance was putting me, the EMTs were putting me into the ambulance, and I got taken to the hospital in Frankfurt to make sure that I wasn't dying. And that's kind of where I
Oh my,
found out that I was pregnant.
aw, love that. Shout out Coral. What is she like? What, 8, 9 years old,
Oh,
something like that?
at least. Last time I checked, she was 20. So,
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you're getting me back for me making you feel old, and now I feel old. There we are.
I
I don't know. When it
know.
comes to airports, I think it's so weird to like how you look at other airports through the lens of the busiest airport in the world, especially with Atlanta being my, home airport and traditionally yours through most of your life,
It is.
correct?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get any more interesting than the domestic terminal at Hartsfield. So that's about as beautifully ratchet as it will ever get. It's just romantically turned up to every degree. And so it's hard to me to compare to anything else. Forever I love Atlanta. That's you're not going to get any crazier than that. Cesspool of complete madness that I'm in love with and will always be.
I love Atlanta. I love Atlanta's airport. I really do. But I interrupted you. So tell me just give us a little glimpse of where you've been these last couple years.
Let's see if I can remember all of it. Let's see. I did one of the best like travel routes that I've ever done was when I did 8 weeks and it was Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, and New Zealand.
Mm,
And that was such a route. Like that was amazing. I did a really great route for like 2 weeks where I did Morocco and did Marrakesh and then went to Casablanca and then I went to Lisbon and Porto and then I went to Barcelona, which Barcelona is a personal favorite of mine.
Barcelona.
There's nothing like Barcelona. It's amazing. Shout out some of my friends that are from Madrid. All they do is talk shit about how much they don't like Barcelona. That's fine. That's whatever. Y'all deal with that however you want to deal with it. But I love Barcelona. I've never been to Madrid. I'm open to going to Madrid. And there's so many other places in Spain to go to. I think I've done like the same thing with Brazil because I've only been to Spain twice and both times were Barcelona. And I've been to Brazil twice, but it was both Rio de Janeiro. So I know there's a lot more to it, but
Do you now feel less guilty about how much you quote out of all the gin joints in all the world? Why does she have to walk into mine?
I know you saw that post and I did it. And you know what? I could have met my Ingrid Bergman that night. My Arabic wasn't as good as it could be, especially not. I needed to brush up on my spitting game in Arabic for
Mm,
sure. And I don't know. I've been to several Muslim dominated countries and I absolutely love them. I love the culture, but I have this thing where I keep wearing like either tank tops or they catch me with my shirt off and they're just offended by me altogether. When I was in Istanbul, I got stopped by the police for running with like no shirt on. And the like later on, like in the hostel too, when I was in Istanbul, this guy like approached me and was like, "Hey, there's some women here, so you should put a shirt on." And I'm looking at him, I'm like, "Do you realize like we're in a hostel? Those girls over there are French. They're not going to have any clothes on after their like third Aperol spritz. So I don't know why you're coming to me like this, So
oh,
I try to be respectful.
do you?
I
It's
you
so
know
funny.
No, I
I,
don't.
you
I don't.
you make me laugh at how you like summarize a whole culture of people in like one sentence. And I know that's part of your humor and I love you. I just forget sometimes your wit. just
Mm.
you're just You're on top of it, Alex.
Well, I shouldn't even be a traveler, Starla. I think in the last time we did a podcast, I'm from Douglasville, Georgia. Vacation to me should be this going to Gulf Shores or going to the Bahamas, something like that, but it just never interests me. Like, like no judgment on others, but like going on a cruise just doesn't really interest me. Like I
Hmm.
have this and I think that you can identify with it and a lot of your listeners would just like this yearning to be in a culture that's just so strongly different from yours and just like be in it,
Hmm.
and like feel that air and just be in open markets and all over the world. Like that's, when it comes to like things I really like to do, I'm a wanderer. Vietnam probably is like probably, I don't know. It's definitely up there on the top of my list for like just best place to just wander and get lost.
Hmm.
Vietnam is extraordinary. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll touch on that. What was it? I did a really great. What was it? Last winter, I finally got down to Patagonia. I did Patagonia.
Yay! That's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh,
Did you fall in love
several times
with
every day,
the landscape or with people?
both
Both.
interchangeably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so let me transition into this so that I can just let you run free.
yeah, yeah.
So you've been all over the world and you do have a gift for meeting people on the road. You know how to spark a connection and make people around you feel comfortable, which is a definitely a skill. And I not only know that just from talking to you, but I, just so our listeners know, I worked with you for like 10 years. So you have that skill kind of wherever you go. And one of the reasons I just want to point this out that I'm such a fan of that skill is one, when you're traveling and you find these people to talk to, you're able to find a shared humanity, right?
Mm.
Another thing is you're able to open up and be vulnerable, which is where we find growth, especially people like you and I who do a lot of self reflection. Like those are moments that we find growth. And the last thing I want to point out is it also allows you and me and travelers to feel more connected to like the community and the culture that you're visiting, which I think is so important. And I'm going to let you touch on this, but like the main thing I want you to share with me like right now is like why you think it's so important for building those relationships or just even connections, even if they're just like you said something to me the other day about the short-term friendships. What did you say?
I said single serving friendships and single serving romance.
Give me a little bit of your perspective on that and what and how and what it's like and why it's important to really just meet people whenever you're traveling.
All right. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of density in that. So let me try to, like put that together. I think human interaction and connection, I think is something that, in everyone in their own story, certainly yearns for in a kind of way. And I think that for me, I don't know, like growing up out in West Georgia, I never really felt like I fit in with people that looked like me. And I've always just sort of been a seeker. I think as like I'm getting older, I'm 38 years old. And, as you get older, you start to realize that, like not everyone is really meant to be permanently in your life. And, I'm not even like speaking about like traveling, just in general, it's like you remember when you were a kid and you think that, your best friends and you're going to be best friends forever. And you like really mean it when you're
Yes.
young and you really do. And then as you get older, you start to realize, it's not always like that. People go in different directions. It's not always on bad terms, but it's just a part of life itself. And I feel like, when you travel, that really gets illuminated, but in a really beautiful way that you get to just sort of like bounce from place to place, like almost like you're just sort of like teleporting in these completely different worlds over and over again. And you just get these snapshots of their lives. I
Yeah.
remember when I was in Ecuador, when was it? I was in Quito, Ecuador, in what was it? Spring of 21.
Hmm.
And I met this really really great woman there, and her and I became fast. Well, we hung out a bunch, and she kept bringing up. I was like, I made some like a reference to Bert and Ernie, and she says, "You mean Beto and Enrique?" And I was like, I mean Bert and Ernie. What are you talking about? And she's like, no, their names are Beto and Enrique. And we're driving in the car going to get sushi in the middle of Ecuador. Just this random girl that I met on a dating site and whatnot. And we're just hanging out, and we just start busting out laughing because it's this weird sort of like, I mean, we have the same experience of watching Sesame Street, but there's just they switched the names a little bit, but it's the same thing, but it's different all at once. And I don't know, like I thought that was so cool. That was such a memorable moment
Yeah.
to just be connecting with someone. And she was someone that's never been to the United States, never left South America. Like, I hung out with her again like a year or two later in Colombia. We met up there. I mean, coming to the US is just everything she gets from that is just TV and whatnot. But it's just, connections like that are just amazing.
Yeah.
When I went to Angkor Wat in Cambodia, which is, I mean, it's hard to even put that into words. I'm not even vain enough to try to put that into words,
I
and
don't
I'm pretty
believe
vain.
that.
But I spent, my buddy William, hopefully he's seeing this because we follow each other on Instagram. So it was this British guy that I hung out with a few weeks. Or not a few weeks, a few days, excuse me. And we toured Angkor Wat together, and we just sort of walked around the whole time, and we're just sort of like taking this in, and we're both avid travelers, and we both know we're at this mecca for travelers because it is. There's nothing like Angkor Wat. It's the most beautiful temple system in the world. It's not just a temple, it's the temple. It's number one. There's not, like, number two is not even close. Angkor Wat is the most beautiful temple that humans have ever made, period.
Right.
Anyone wants to debate me, we can do it. And the whole time, like, him and I are just sort of like walking around. Me, it's really hot, so I'm trying to take my shirt off again and whatnot. I've got all the French girls are looking at me again, and like, he's just like this British guy who's my buddy, and he's just so articulate and so smart and so like put together. And so he's just sort of like chaperoning me this whole time, and I'm just like this American cowboy that's like can't stay in line, can't listen to anyone. They told me not to hit my vape several times. I was hitting my vape, and it was fun. It was like he was just like my little chaperone guy that I had with me the whole time. I had another buddy that I really love a lot, Johnny. Shout out Johnny, who's I met in Honduras when I went to Utila. I know Honduras is huge.
It is.
Is a big one for you. I've only
Hmm.
been to Utila. That's my only experience with Honduras. I know I need to get back out there.
You know
So
what? It's what a beautiful place, right?
oh, it's I'm actually wearing it like right now.
Oh, what a great! Where did you get that shirt? It says Nutella.
What is it? Right there. Like
Yeah,
I got it there.
well, yeah, but in Utila, there's like, as you know, many, many dive shops, but not very many shops that you would buy something like that. They don't have a whole lot of like souvenir shops.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You remember? Okay.
I got it somewhere in there. Utila's really cool. Did you go to that one what was it, like almost like tree house that has all of like
Tree
the
Tannic.
stink? Is that okay? You already know what I'm talking about. You
Yeah,
already know what I'm talking
and it's
about.
also
Yeah.
called the Jade Seahorse because you can also stay there, like like a hotel. But then there's the bar there as well, Tree Tannic, and that place is the jam. I talked to the owner I don't even remember. He's been building that place for like. I don't even remember. I don't even want to say it out loud because I'll probably be wrong. But it's been at least at this point 25 years. Yeah, just building on to that place.
It's beautiful.
Right?
I love it. Yeah, I love it. So the dude that I actually met when I was there, his name was Johnny, who's a really good looking guy from Argentina, and He's from Argentina, and when I went down to Patagonia, I'm in Buenos Aires, so I got to hit my boy Johnny up for sure because he's got to wingman me because he is way better looking than me. So I'm just gonna like try to like catch his overflow and whatnot, like just sort of like swim in his wake,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
And
right.
so him and I we hung out and we went to Palermo, which is a really cool place in Buenos Aires. I met up with my buddy just randomly on the other side of the world, and him and I just sat there and talked about why they have so much beef with Chile. I didn't know if you knew this, but Argentinians and Chileans they don't mess with each other. It's really sad. It's all about the Falklands War, but we won't get into that. So we
Yeah.
talked about that. We ate a bunch of asado. I just hung out with my buddy, and it was really really cool. So I don't know. Have you been to Buenos Aires?
I have not. Should
So
I? Do I need to put it on my list?
it is like Latino Paris. It like
Mm-hmm.
really is. It's Latino Paris, and
Okay.
it's great. A lot of cafes, a lot of shops, and it's really really cool. Not as cool as Uruguay. Uruguay is amazing. Oh my God. So I met this one girl when I was in Uruguay, and we went to a bunch of art shows together
Hmm.
and all of this. I was about to leave it all behind. I was about to risk it all, Starla. Like we could have definitely made things happen.
What
She
happened?
spoke no English. I'm talking no English.
So,
Like,
so.
the connection we had was done completely by Google Translate,
Hmm.
and whatnot. And I don't know. And I think she was a little bit racist too, but I was thinking hopefully my love could change her. And it would come out of nowhere. I was like, well, maybe we can work on this. Eventually like anything else, I got on that plane. So yeah, that was Uruguay as well.
So let me ask you this. Whenever you are meeting people, yes, you just have an ease with doing it, but do you have any advice for people who really do want to meet more people when they're out and about? And they might not want to be on a Tinder or some sort of dating app. Like, what advice do you have for people who want to sit down and have a beer with like a person who lives locally, who might have something to say about the town that they're visiting?
Well, you just need to go out there and do it and be interesting and let the rest of it unfold. For me, whenever I tell people that I am like going like solo traveling, they always look at me with not everyone, but several people. Whenever I tell them that, especially people in my professional life, in my job, they're just like, "Oh, you're going alone? You're just going by yourself?" And you know what? I mean, I've gone out, I've traveled with friends, I've gone with, women that I was dating at the time, and all of those were great experiences. But I love solo travel. I love it. I love going at my own pace, and I love just like knowing that like the people that I am supposed to meet are just already going to just be there and I just know that they're there. And I don't know, like, so when I was in Vietnam, I went to this island called Phu Quoc, which is, have you heard of Phu Quoc? Do you know? Yes.
No, no,
So I
tell me about it.
what? Oh my God. So
Tell
it's
me
like the
about it.
Martha's
I haven't
Vineyard.
heard of it.
Oh my gosh. So it's an island off the coast of Vietnam, and it's in the Sea of Thailand. It's actually closer to Thailand, but like Vietnam has it. And I got this Airbnb like literally like maybe 3 minutes from the beach, and it was $16 a day for me to have like an entire apartment there. And it was so sick, and it was the middle of nowhere. There was no Americans, no white people. I was like, I stuck out like such a sore thumb, but I loved every single minute of it. And like, I don't know, like I feel like people are so curious as to why I would be in the middle of nowhere or be there. And I love having conversations with people like that. So at the Airbnb I stayed at, there was this guy named Bai. And he was the one, him and I were the exact same age. Same age, Vietnamese guy, owned the entire building. There was like on the top of the building there was this a huge patio, and I would go up there and hit my vape and just kind of hang out and listen to music and watch like the beautiful sunset. And he would come up there and hang out with me. And he would always put on like a pot of green tea. And like the whole time I was staying there, I stayed there for like 4 or 5 days, something like that. Every single night he knew I'd be up there because he just like always wanted to have a conversation with me. And I think I was always waiting on him too.
Mm.
And we would just like sit up there, spoke no English. Obviously, I speak no Vietnamese. So we're having these full length conversations, just passing my iPhone back and forth. And he just like wanted to hear what I thought about everything. He wanted to hear what I thought about. And it was like the random stuff that he would ask me about. He would like be like, "So what do you think about Morgan Freeman? What do you think
Mhm.
about Donald Trump? What do you think about pizza in New York? What do you think about having sex before marriage?" Like it was just like such like random stuff, and he really wanted to know what I thought about it, and I really wanted to hear what he thought about things. And I mean, it was just these two people worlds away, just like having this conversation. And I don't know, in moments like that, I really feel like I shouldn't be anywhere else except for there. And yeah, yeah.
See, you're good at listening with me, but again, that's because we have a friendship, right? Like we've got history. Are you good at actively listening to strangers?
I think that I could always do better, but I think I always want to be hard on myself on being a good listener. I think that, you know, one of the most powerful parts of travel is really getting a perspective outside of your community and developing that of, a global perspective on things. It wasn't the last time I was in Istanbul, and but the previous time to that, not to bring down the mood, but like I when I was in Istanbul, I saw several women that were all picking up trash and eating. And I remember that day, and I was just so, and I mean, I went to Georgia State. Like, I've seen individuals, that are struggling or out in the street for sure. I mean, I was one of them. But that day when I saw those women that was out in Istanbul, like this like deep surge of empathy, like really, really hit me all the way down to my bone marrow. And like I just sort of like literally like the first thing I could think of was just like, God, like, please forgive me for spending like one day ungrateful. And I think as get older in my life, and all these great things keep happening to me in my career, like being able to hold on to like a certain level of gratitude that I get to have here, being in, a Western country such as the United States, is something that I really need to hold on to. And it's something that you always forget in the hustle and bustle of your regular day life, me trying to make a sale or running a team or doing all the things I need to do for my job. I forget all of that, especially out in the world, because I've seen a lot of pain for sure. Yeah.
In your own personal life as well. Do you feel like travel has been one of the healing properties for you personally?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't even know really how I approach that question. Traveling for me has like given me the ability to really see who I really am outside of, just, the little bubble of the United States, the little bubble of Georgia, and everyone always asks me, "Oh, if you love to travel so much, like, why don't you like move there? Why don't you move somewhere?" And I've thought about it, but I don't know, like, honestly, like, I love my life in Georgia. I just do. I live in Roswell, and it's great. And for me, it's, I don't know, like healing has always occurred to me, especially in traveling, when I just really wasn't even thinking about healing. I was just kind of along for the ride, and it just sort of happened. I've met some really, really amazing people, some amazing women, some amazing friends, some, amazing foes, pretty much all of it. And I don't know, I'm still, it's just never enough. I still have to do more. I have another huge trip planned at the end of the year. I'm gonna finally go to Nepal. I know it's finally happening. I was saving that for a rainy day.
Little tears coming to my eye. Oh, that's good. Oh, I
I know I'm
cannot
gonna love
wait.
it.
I cannot wait to hear about your trip there. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh,
Yeah,
yay. Where
it's gonna
are
be
you going to
great.
stay for a couple weeks?
So this route, I am no, I'm going. Let's see, I'm going to Bali, and I'm going to be in Bali for 10 days. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do 5 days in Chiang Mai in Thailand. And then I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to do 2 weeks doing 2 weeks in Nepal, going to Kathmandu and then immediately flying to Pokhara and staying
Mm-hmm.
there. And then there's like a huge animal reserve like southeast of Pokhara, I think, where I'm going there too. I'm not interested in doing any of the base camp Everest stuff or anything like that. I think that deserves kind of an individual trip altogether. But what's also really cool is I'm actually on Christmas Eve flying from Kathmandu to Spokane, Washington, because my parents bought a house in Sandpoint, Idaho, and I'm spending Christmas. So my parents just bought a house, actually not even really that far from you. So,
That's dope. That's so
and
dope.
yeah, in Sandpoint, Idaho. So,
That's so awesome. Okay,
yeah.
a couple questions to circle back. Whenever you're in Nepal, are you going, the last place you talked about, are you going down to Chitwan National Park?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what I think. Yeah.
that was so, I was lucky enough to get to go there, and the majority of my time was spent in the mountains. So going to Chitwan was so cool. I was like, I just wasn't expecting it. It's such a different terrain, just culturally speaking. But I'm so glad you're going there. That's awesome. And then before Nepal, where did you say you were going?
Chiang Mai,
Chiang Mai. Okay, so
Thailand.
are you gonna go do the elephant sanctuaries up there?
I thought, were you going to say, are you going to do the Lady Boys? And no, I'm not, Starla. I'm going to go see the elephants. Get your mind
Yeah.
out of the gutter. You're a grown woman now. You know?
Oh my God, I'm trying. Okay, so I have this quote, you know me and quotes, and our boy, one of our favorite people who romanticizes travel in the way we both can relate to, Anthony Bourdain. I read this the other day and I was like, oh, this would be a good one to bring up with Henry. Okay, so here it is. To sit alone or with a few friends, half drunk under a full moon, you just understand how lucky you are. It's a story you can't tell. I've learned in real time to look at those things and realize I just had a really good moment. And so I can just imagine
Mm.
him saying that. I can hear his voice saying that. So like again, like he just said, you don't have to explain to me the moment because I know it's impossible, but are there certain countries that you've just really had good moments like that as far as connecting with people around you?
Oh yeah. Morocco is like the first one that like pops off when I think about like connection with people. One of the nights when I was in Casablanca, I was just kind of like walking by the beach, and it's not like actually like a beach. It's one of those like rocky. Do you ever like get to a place and you're like, oh, there's a beach, there's the ocean there. I can't wait to have a beach day. But then you go and it's just a bunch of rocks, and you're like, okay, whatever. So
Yeah.
it was kind of like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And but I was just sort of like walking up and down the beach, and so I think on my Instagram there's a really great photo of me and like 4 or 5 other like Moroccan young men that were, I mean, they were like probably had to be 18, 19, 20, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they saw me just walking alone, and they were just like, come over here, bro. Just come over here. And like I went over and I was like, well, I mean, well, they're not really big enough to rob me. Like, let's just figure out what's going on over here.
Mm-hmm.
And I went over there and I just sat down with them, and they just wanted to like feed me food. So they just literally on the side, they had this like little fire going, and they were like cooking different types of sausages, and they had this like little bread that they had, and they were like just feeding me Coca-Cola and whatnot. And we all just had this moment, and they like all wanted to like, ask me what I thought about soccer soccer, and I had to tell them like 10 times in a row that I'm not a big soccer guy. I don't know why you keep asking me that. Yeah, that was just a cool moment of connection and just people hanging out together that, that I loved and I'll always remember. And I don't know, it just made me think about how many people that just can't get along with individuals that look different from them or act different from them. And that was just a really cool connective moment for me. Morocco is really, really cool. Morocco is different. There's just, I mean, once you get to a point, and I don't mean this in a pretentious way, but once you get to a point where you've been to all the major continents and you've been to so many different cultures, it's like really, really hard to get sort of like shocked with differences anymore. And Morocco, it will do it every single time because it is just such a mysterious link in like human history and the makeup of their culture, their history, their proximity to other countries. It's more of an Arab nation than anything else, but it's in Africa. It's just such an interesting place. It really is, especially like the temperature too. I've never, and I know you've been there too. I don't know, maybe that you like noticed this, but like the contrast of how hot it is in the day and how cold it gets at night is crazy. Is absolutely crazy. It's not like any other place. And when I was there, I took a hot air balloon tour over the Atlas Mountains, and that was so sick. That was really, really cool.
Atlas
So,
Mountains are
yeah.
just like, oh, they're so amazing.
They're something else, aren't they? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're
So
gorgeous. I was just gonna say, I don't think I've ever eaten so many olives before in my life.
oh my gosh, yeah. And I'm sure you had a lot of tangine, tangine.
Oh
We can
yeah.
roll a tangine all day. I mean, I don't know. I call me a total sicko, but like I like the tangine with the beef. Maybe it's because I'm an American. I know it's traditionally with lamb. I know there's going to be a lot of your listeners that are going to kick up at me. Oh, you should be having the lamb tangine, not the beef tangine. Well, you can come find me on the street. So stand behind it. I like the beef tangine. It's who I am. It's how God made me. I stand on business with the beef tangine. And
You
that's just how
are
it's going to
you
be.
are a hunter gatherer, aren't you?
Definitely. Yeah. I'll pretty much always be a savage. Even though, like, during the week I wear, like, khaki pants and I have to sell things and answer emails. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Yeah. But what can you do?
But does it? I don't know if you didn't have like this quote unquote normal life, normal job, would travel be as romantic to you?
I think sort of the dichotomous nature of like me stepping out of like my career and going on these trips and just being a dirty hippie traveler is like something that I just will always be a part of me and will never ever go away.
Okay, well, tell me this. So, of the places you've been in the last 2 years, where should our travelers go if they want to go, if they're foodies, if they want to go and eat? Where should they go?
Vietnam. Vietnam's number one.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
far as like,
Tell me why.
I don't know, like I have like food country, I would say Vietnam. Food city, Tokyo is number one. I've been there before, not in the past 2 years, but and Anthony Bourdain said this, and it's just a fact. And they also have more. It's not just because they have more Michelin stars than anywhere else. It is Tokyo will always be number one for food. It is the number one food mecca. Like their ability to reach so many different flavor profiles with so many simple ingredients and do it with so much precision. The Tokyo is number one, but like so far overall as a country, Vietnam is just fun. I remember the first night I spent, and I was in Hanoi, and I always pronounce that right. Hanoi, Hanoi. It's either Hanoi or Hanoi. The northern part. So,
I thought it
and
was
I had
Hanoi,
this.
but go ahead.
Yeah, I usually always say it wrong and someone corrects me. But like I had this dish there that was like this puff pastry and they were all blown up and there was like a dozen of them and they were like in a little pile and then they put beef and peppers and you dip the beef in this like vinegar sauce while eating these puff pastries all in this one like big dish and it was just like so amazing. amazing, as well as all the pho. I'm a huge pho guy.
Mm.
Pho over ramen. Some people are gonna fight me on this, but pho is superior to ramen in every single way. It's more sincere. It's more wholesome. It's more authentic. It's more real than ramen. So basically, if you like ramen over pho, you're a fake person, and that's how I feel. So um,
I'm
yeah,
sure you offended some people. I
I hope I
actually
did.
shockingly agree with you on this, but that's just me. I do like pho better than ramen. Okay, what about I'm dying to ask you this. What about Sicily? How was the food there?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. So I went to, let's see, so I didn't like really bounce around a lot. I really just wanted to sit on the beach and read, which is what I did. But I went to San Vito Lo Cobo, which is kind of on the western side of Sicily. And I flew into Palermo and then took the most expensive Uber of my life because all of the bus drivers are on strike right now, so you can't get on a bus. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to rent a vehicle in Italy. Don't make that mistake. Oh my
No?
gosh.
Why?
Because those drivers are crazy. There's just going to be an altercation. It just is. So anyway, I went out to San Vito Lo Cobo, and so what they're known for is their couscous, which the food's so nice they named it twice. So I had a fish couscous out there that'll just absolutely knock you on the ground. That'll get you. It'll get you. And so I did a lot of that. I had, a lot of tiramisu while I kept fighting off all the advances of the Italian women that were there.
D- oh, really?
So
Was you're
I'm
just
trying, I'm
meeting
trying to
them
meet,
off
I'm
with a
trying to
stick?
meet, I'm trying to meet an honest woman. I did a lot of that, a lot of reading my Bible while telling them, no, I'm sorry. You're just
Oh,
gonna have to move on.
I'm sure that's how it went.
And so, I mean, yeah, the pasta there, forget about it. It'll just knock you out. It's Sicily, it's Italy. Yeah, it's like ruins pasta for you for like 6 months back in the States, and then after a while, you kind of like, the memories of Italy just kind of fade, and then you're allowed to have American pasta again.
Portugal, we're close, right? We're so close. What's the food like in
Yes.
Portugal? What's that food situation?
Oh my gosh, the pork. You got to talk about the pork if you're going to be on the
Mm-hmm.
Iberian Peninsula at all. You got to talk about the pork with what is it like it's those like black pigs. I know there's a name for it, but they're like big black pigs that eat these special walnuts somewhere in like Spain and
Yeah.
Portugal. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
talking about? I know someone's like, "Oh, how do you not know what this
Yes.
is?" But it's those special
I'm gonna
pigs.
have to Google it.
They're special pigs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that's a highlight. The is that for sure. And just
Okay.
like you walk into a little parlor, and I think I tore like the lining in my stomach a little bit because I just literally
Oh.
ate like shaving after shaving of a fork like forever. Like it was just like a bar, and I'm just ordering natural light after natural light. I just kept ordering more pork and just ate it over and over and over again, and it was amazing. It was great. I think like Portugal is also really great. I don't think it's really exclusive to Portugal, but one thing that we don't really do in America that the Europeans do really well is pistachio cream as a flavor profile is so good. Get some pistachio cream and put it in a croissant and then just sort of like walk around Lisbon where like everyone just like offers you like cocaine all night, but like you tell them like, no, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to do any cocaine. You do not want to see that. Trust me. And so I'm trying to say in like Google Translate in like Portuguese, you do not want to see me on cocaine. It will terrify you. You don't want to see it. So you just continue eating your croissant instead. Yeah. No cocaine, croissant instead. You
Okay.
know. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
Pistachio
my overview
cream
of Portugal.
croissant. Okay. Okay. I
Yes.
love it. Okay. I love that.
hmm
What about this? I have no idea, and I've never even thought to ask this. How's the food in New Zealand? Is it a thing?
Very, yeah. I mean, that's on the same level as England. It's
Okay. Yeah.
England. They're English. They're English. I will say
Okay.
this. No, like I had fish and chips when I was in Queenstown. So New Zealand is kind of divided up into two islands. They have like North Island and South Island, and most of the
Mm-hmm.
population lives on North Island because that's where like Auckland is, and Wellington, the capital, and Tarango, which is my favorite part of the North Island. But like Queenstown is like such a gem in the South, and that is where I had the best fish and chips of my life because it was amazing. It was also the closest I've ever been to Antarctica. That was the deepest down I've ever been. Was Queenstown, New Zealand for sure. Queenstown's amazing, and they have, oh my God, a kiwi conservatory there to where you can see kiwi birds. Are you familiar with? Do you know the kiwi bird? You
Yes,
know,
I am familiar with that. Yes, that's
so like
awesome.
oh my God, it's so amazing. So you go into this like this conservatory, and there's all these this glass in between, and these like little like kind of like dirt areas with leaves where they scurry around. But the thing is that they're very nocturnal. So what they do is they dim down the lights to where when you walk in, it's like it starts out like pitch black to where you can't see anything. But the crazy thing about the human eye is that it actually, in like, not in complete darkness, but in like a whole lot of darkness, your eyes will adjust, and your actual sight will get better if you like give it like a few minutes. So that's how this
Mm-hmm.
conservatory is set up. So you go in and it's completely dark for like 4 or 5 minutes, but your eyes kind of adjust. And you
Mm-hmm.
see these like little scurrying characters, and they look like something you would see in Alice in Wonderland almost, and with these like little legs, and they're like big, puffy little animals. And they've got these long beaks where they just like get food and grub worms and stuff like that. They're just sort of like this extraordinary like link in like evolution itself. And I think the term itself is in biology is referred to as allopatric speciation. And what that basically means is, places like Australia and New Zealand that are not connected to much larger mainland continents have such, diverse and strange species because they're not all interdependent or connected to each other in a
Mm-hmm.
way. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's why you have so many weird animals. Not only that, but they were able to, the kiwi were able to flourish in New Zealand because there's no actual like land predators of any
Mm.
kind.
I did not
No,
know that.
no
Really?
wolves, no coyotes, no bears, no mountain lions, no tigers, no lions, like none of that, So no like large animal predators exist in New Zealand, which is crazy, but that's,
Wow.
that's a part of it. And when I was also in New Zealand, I don't know if you're like familiar with the Maori as well. So they're, the, indigenous persons of New Zealand.
Yeah.
And one thing that I really love is it really just seems like, so, you have the white colonizers of the New Zealanders, from which are really just from England. There's English, men and women that came down there, and the Maori. And, despite, a lot of conflicts in the past, like from what I have noticed anecdotally, is they live like really harmoniously together. There isn't this huge amount of friction like you see in so many other cultures around the world when you have much different cultures living together in a certain area. Like the Maori and the New Zealanders, or, Kiwi as they call them, live together pretty peacefully, which I think is really, really cool. The Kiwi, so far as like the New Zealanders from England, like constantly pay tribute to the Maori, and wherever you go, there's like these really, really great sort of either statues or templates or things where you can like read about their culture too,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is just really, really cool
Mm-hmm.
and cool of the New Zealanders.
So if somebody is thinking about going to New Zealand, whether they've seen Lord of the Rings and they just want to go visit a Hobbit house or what, like what are some main key points like, hey, this is why you'd want to go to New Zealand? Why? What would they do?
But skip the Lord of the Rings thing. It is like, that's the first thing you do is you just don't even go to it. That's that's what you do. And you know what? I loved Lord of the Rings. I thought it was great. I'm not like a huge fantasy person. I watched all of the Lord of the Rings.
Hmm.
Honestly, just going around New Zealand in general is the one big Lord of the Rings set anyway. It really is.
Okay.
You know, I mean, it's gorgeous down there. I think that, if I could do it all over again, I would spend more time on the South Island than the North Island. I think when it comes to a travel tip, I think that, if you wanted more, and I loved the culture down there, but I think North Island is more for culture and people, and
Hmm.
South Island is more for nature. So I think that's sort of like a big, kind of like difference in the two. And Queenstown was definitely my favorite part, and that was on the South Island, and that was amazing. Yeah, those mountain views in Queenstown, New Zealand were extraordinary. They're really great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So in order to travel from north to south or south to north, whatever, are you going driving, train, plane? What's the best way to go?
In New Zealand,
Okay.
flight after flight.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's that big.
It's it,
Okay.
yeah, it's too much space. Yeah. And I think and New Zealand is pricey as well. It's something that you definitely want to plan out, like if you're a budget traveler,
Hmm.
for sure. It's not like Colombia where you're like, here's the money, and you can do whatever, or especially like Thailand or Cambodia or Vietnam where, you can really just throw your money around. You can't do that in New Zealand. So I think you definitely need to plan it out a little bit more. The Airbnbs are more expensive. The older I get, the more I can't really do the hostel thing anymore, Starla.
Oh my God. Oh my
I,
God.
I,
Who are you?
I, I lived that life. I lived that life. I did it. All right. And the second some like 19-year-old on ketamine starts playing Creep by Radiohead on the acoustic guitar, I know that it is time for me to get a hotel, you know? Kids. Yeah.
Oh my
Like the
God. I love that for you. I do. I'm not there yet. I'm older than you and I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
I think you'll get there as soon as you get some sort of like trust fund, like white girl with elephant pants and a nose ring that just comes up to you and says, I'm not really religious, I'm really spiritual. I think you'll be like, I've got to go.
Stupid.
It's time for me to go.
I
It's,
can't.
it's,
I cannot with you.
it
Oh my
is
God.
it is time for me to go. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so I have to ask, do people that you meet in different countries, do they get your sense of humor right away? Or do you think you offend people for a minute until they realize that you're just funny?
I think it depends. I think, I mean, South America, they love it. They love me, especially Cartagena. I mean, I can really just let the freak flag fly in Cartagena. There is no judgment in Cartagena. My God, you can do what that place. Everyone's going to hell. Everyone's going to hell in that city. Literally everyone. I was merely a traveler. I don't live there, so maybe there's a chance for me, but because I got out. But I think I don't know. I keep things very loose, and I genuinely do try not to offend people, but I don't know. If I'm offending someone, hopefully it's a white person. So that's it's funny, like with people that are so much different than me, most of the people that actually are like mad at something I said, it's usually going to be a straight white male who's American. Pretty much everyone else keeps it cool. Everyone else keeps it together. Those guys need to calm down,
Okay, I agree.
which is crazy because I am one, but I mean, what do you do, right?
Yeah, that's hysterical. Agree. I love this and everything that you've done the last couple years. I mean, you've just been living your best life. How are you feeling? How are you feeling in life?
Oh, that's such a big question. I don't know. I'm feeling accomplished. I'm very blessed that I fell into a career that I was really able to illuminate some of my talents, for sure. I'm a sales manager for a roofing company. And I don't know, I never thought that I would have a career like this, but it's really taken off and I've stepped into that role. I think some days are, more difficult than others because this year has been all about my kind of like leadership role that I've stepped into.
Mm-hmm.
It's really amazing. My life looks a lot different than when we first met.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
um,
And I'm
yeah.
I'm super I'm super proud of you. I mean, first of all, I can't believe you're almost 40 because you were early 20s when I met you. And yeah, so many stories. We're not going to go into them. But I am proud of you and just how you've yeah, I don't know, you're authentically you, and you're not afraid to take a solo trip, and you're not afraid to talk to people and just meet new people, and all these things I admire about you. And just anytime I'm craving just like a reminder of why I like to travel, you're one of those people that I love to text or love to talk to, because I'm just, not everybody, let me rephrase that. Anybody can travel, everybody can travel, but just like anything in life, sometimes you just connect with certain people on certain things, right?
Of course.
Yeah, and I feel like when you and I are talking about travel, we're kind of in the same realm.
Yeah, I don't know. And one thing too, to like anyone listening, for me, like been out and about a few times. I've traveled a good bit. And I think like when you watch like Eat, Pray, Love, which is also I think like a really big, whether we want to admit it or not, we've all watched that on a flight and been like, okay, thought, okay, well, the answers I seek, they're always, somewhere else, or my heart's broken and who I need to find is somewhere else, or life isn't going the way that I need it to, so I need to go somewhere else to find it. I think so many people have been on that journey, and and I'm guilty of that as well. Gosh, whenever I go through a heartbreak, I always get a flight out, and go
Me
somewhere else
too.
and do that.
Hmm.
It's just like a part of the healing process. But like, I don't know, the crazy thing is like no matter where you go, like there you are. And I've had so many great experiences where like I healed to a certain degree, but like most of like my real healing and maturity and what I've developed in life has really just been at home and doing all the necessary things that I need to do to become the man that I'm supposed to be, and sticking to the rudimentary things of just being a better person. And that's, being more empathetic, being kinder to people, trying to listen instead of just talk over people, which I have not always been the best at. I've always been someone that's sort of waited for their time to talk. But as I've gotten older, I think I've gotten a lot better at that for sure. And, obviously sobriety is a really big part of my story as well. And being able to, mentor and do community outreach for young men that struggle with, addiction adversity or mental health adversity, has been, a much bigger calling than traveling will ever be. I love to travel, and I love other cultures, but I love being able to give back what has been so freely given to me. I've had a lot of tough times in my life, and I was able to overcome them through the grace of others that gave me a chance to be better.
That's really awesome. You
Yeah.
seem to be doing really well.
Yeah, yeah.
You seem happy.
God's been really good to me for sure. Life always hasn't been perfect, but it's pretty good right now for sure.
I'm happy
So,
for you. I really am.
yeah,
I'm super happy for
yeah.
you. And I love that, you found something that gives you that greater purpose. And like, to piggyback off what you just said, like, I love travel. It is part of my identity and who I identify as. And it's something I love to do, and it's kind of shaped who I am. But at the end of the day, like right now, I'm teaching at a school in Seattle Public Schools, and just to feel like a greater purpose, that you are helping, making some sort of difference, even if it's just in a tiny little bubble. I'm not trying to change the world. That's not my goal, but just to, in my classroom with 24 kids, like just to have some sort of positive impact, or at least show them like what kindness looks like, or what somebody that cares about them looks like. Like, it is really cool to kind of just feel that, right? And
Yeah, teachers can change the world. Teachers are amazing, and yes, they can teach the world. And I have no doubt that you are changing the world with your students. Like everyone, they want to look at the next Alexander the Great, the next Napoleon. They always want to look at people that with big trophies or big, marks in history. But like honestly, like on the community level, the people that really move the needle for making great people are great teachers. So like never ever, minimize that for a moment, because I guarantee that you're an extraordinary teacher. I was at work. What was it, last week? And we were like talking about long-term goals. And of course, I work with a bunch of sales guys. So they're all like, oh my gosh, I want a Porsche. I want like a really big tittied wife, all this stuff for like goals. And like for me, I said, that I wanted to make enough money to be able to retire and do what I've always really wanted to do, which is be a high school history teacher, teach world history and have a classroom full of art pieces from all over the world. I've got art pieces all over the world in my apartment, and just sort of, have these talk about different moments in history and then apply it to the time that I actually went there, and do that, and just sort of retire out as that. But first, I still want to stay in business where I'm at right now. Yeah.
oh, you would make a
So
fantastic teacher. Oh my God. You would be so passionate, and which is such a huge part of it. So when you get to that part of your life, hit me up, because I'm sure I will have hopefully some really good advice for you at that point in my career. But you just kind of transitioned me into a perfect little ending, since we've been talking for an hour and 10 minutes, and nobody's going to listen to all of us talk. I feel like you and I go off on these tangents, but I'm like, who cares? Whatever, we're having fun. But this transition,
I got 3 ex-girlfriends I know that are going to watch every single second of this. Every single second of this. And no, Starla and I have always been friends, and it's not any of your business.
oh my God, you're killing me. Okay, no, you transitioned me into my perfect ending, because I have been, normally on this podcast, I'll do like a would you rather, that type of thing. But I'm like, you know what? Let me switch it up a little bit. And I'm going to do a little bit of geography trivia for you. If you don't know it, who cares? But I'm curious. And you just said you want to be like a history
Hit me
teacher.
with, yeah, let's
see.
go.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Numero uno. Which U.S. state is the only one with more forest cover than it had 100 years ago?
Oh, what a
And
Maine.
shut the out. Oh my God. First of all, I hate you. Okay. Yes, he got it correct. And I was about to give him 3 options. Maine. Maine is the correct answer. Oh my God. You're hysterical. How did
I got
you
cousins up there.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, you're
I got people everywhere.
Okay, here we go. Number 2. What is the most densely populated city in the world right now? 2025.
Densely populated city.
Yes.
I know the most densely populated country is Bangladesh. Most densely populated city? The densely part is throwing me off. Well, I was gonna say Mexico City, but is it Mumbai?
Nope. And now you got me Googling to check and make sure. Oh no. Okay. I'm still right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's the densely populated. Let's see. Hold on. The most densely populated city in the world in 2025 is generally considered to be Manila.
Whoa, no one's gonna get that, really.
Yeah, it says that it's estimated at 43,000 people per square kilometer. That's a lot. That's a lot of people.
It's wild.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it also says other highly dense cities also includes Dhaka in Bangladesh. How do you pronounce that? Dhaka? Dhaka?
Dhaka?
Dhaka?
I thought Bangladesh was the number one densely populated country. I thought, yeah. But, yeah.
Anyways,
Mm.
well, you were on the right track. Okay, so here we go. Numero trace. What is the highest palace in the world? The highest palace.
Palace? So, I mean, I feel like palace could be is this just sort of like monarch entity to any degree? Like,
Like
that's
think Dalai Lama.
Tibet. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yes. So as at least according to the Google, whenever I was checking it out, because a long time ago I went to the Potala Palace in Tibet, and
Okay.
at the time they said it was the highest palace in the world, and so I Googled it today, and apparently it still is. But I just think that's a little fun fact, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a little
Go
fun
run
fact.
it.
Highest palace. Okay, number 4. Which U.S. state contains the northernmost point in the continental U.S.?
In the continental U.S.? I think this is a trick question.
It is, because I thought it was
Because
Maine.
I'm gonna go with I feel like it's a trick question because you think it's either Washington or Maine, but it's not. It's like either Minnesota or Michigan. So I think I'm gonna go with but I think it's even more trick question because I think it's that little part of it's Michigan. Is it Michigan? Is it Minnesota?
You were
It's
right.
one of the two.
You were right first. Minnesota. Yeah.
Minnesota?
Yes. Okay.
They're basically Canadians, aren't they? They like literally are.
Next one. In which country would you find Angel Falls, the tallest waterfall in the world?
It's in Africa. Angel.
What if I
Oh
said
my gosh.
Angel Falls is the world's highest uninterrupted waterfall, located in blank, and it drops 979 meters, so 3,212 feet. And it's not in Africa, but it starts with... I'm not going to tell you what it starts with.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's got to be in South America then, and it's in Bolivia.
Venezuela.
Venezuela?
Yes. Yes.
See, I would know that if that wasn't like the most dangerous place in the world to be in right now. I would be there.
The only thing I don't like about its name is apparently it was named after an American aviator, Jimmy Angel, who was the first to fly over it in 1933. I hate that. Why are they naming it after him? Okay.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
they need to stick with Simone Bolivar.
Okay. Next one. Which country would you find the Kalahari Desert? Here are your options: Chad, Botswana,
Man,
Egypt.
I have no idea. Somalia.
No, here are your options: Chad, Botswana, Egypt.
I have no idea. Chad?
Nope, Botswana.
I have no
It's
idea.
Botswana. It's okay. Yeah,
Botswana?
no. I love that you.
These
that
are
you're-
hard.
Yeah, but I love that you're even just like you were down to do it. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick fire of a name of a capital, and you're going to tell me the country it's the capital of. Quick fire.
All right.
It's the last thing
I
we
can do
do.
that.
Okay, here we go.
I can do that.
Number 1, Copenhagen.
Denmark,
Buenos Aires.
Argentina,
Vienna.
Austria,
San Jose.
Costa Rica.
Seoul.
Repeat that?
Seoul. Seoul.
Oh, Seoul, South Korea.
Sorry, I've got my country accent in there. Seoul.
Annyeong,
Okay.
감사합니다.
Yeah, thank you. Beirut.
United Arab Emirates.
Beirut. Do you remember where Coral's
Oh,
family was?
Lebanon,
Yes,
Lebanon,
Yes.
Lebanon.
Yes. Warsaw.
Poland,
Havana.
Cuba.
Helsinki.
Ooh, Finland.
Okay. And last one. There's 2 different ways to say this, but I'm going to say it the way that I think it in my head when I'm reading about it. Kabul. Kabul. Okay.
Is Afghanistan.
Look at you. You got all those right. You know your capitals.
Yes. As Starla, as you can see, I have my college degree thumbtacked to the wall.
Georgia State, GSU. What?
Everything else is framed, so that is thumbtacked to the wall, but my Galapagos turtle has been framed. That's how I feel. That's the order of importance that I have. My $30,000 degree gets thumbtacked, and my $4 turtle made of leaves gets its own frame.
$30,000. That's not a bad price for a degree in the United States these days.
Yeah, it really isn't. No, really Georgia State's great.
Yeah. I went there for one semester, but I ended up transferring to Valdosta, but only because they had a program there that I was more interested in taking. But yeah, GSU is great. It's so great. Well, look, I have just really enjoyed talking to you. You are so fun. You're just fun. That's all I have to say. You're fun.
Oh, thanks, darling. You're the best. Yeah.
Well, it was so great talking to you.
Oh, much love.
Yes, I'm going to talk to you soon. Bye.